Is Assetto Corsa EVO going to be the next big sim racing title? And what kind of racing sim is it going to be with the announcement of the huge open world? Today we're going to break down everything you need to know about what could be the most groundbreaking racing simulation of 2025 and what we can expect from the January early access release of Assetto Corsa EVO. A big thank you to Overtake.gg for their in-depth coverage of AC EVO. Some of the footage you'll see in the background today is from their latest interview with Marco Massaruto from Kunos Simulazioni. I'll link it in the video description if you want to take a look at the full video. Let's start with what was long speculated about and is now confirmed to come. Free roam in an open world. Kunos Simulazioni, the developers, are dropping a 1600 square kilometer open world map of the Eifel region surrounding the famous Nürburgring Nordschleife. To put into perspective how huge this is going to be, the Forza Horizon 5 map, which is the biggest of any Forza Horizon game so far, is estimated to be just over 100 square kilometers. So the AC EVO open world will be around 16 times bigger. Just think about that for a second. And this isn't just a simple map. We're talking about LiDAR scanned terrain that lets you drive virtually anywhere around the Nürburgring as if you were actually there. Want to just cruise on the roads around the Green Hell? You can do that. Want to interact with local businesses? That's possible too. Want to go off-road and explore the countryside? Even that you can do. I have to be honest, before the announcement of the open world, I was kind of skeptical if the new Assetto Corsa would actually be an evolution of the franchise, or just another track racing sim, especially with including a lot of non-race cars as well, which, let's be honest, sometimes aren't all that fun to drive around a racing circuit. This now makes perfect sense to me. By driving these road cars on public streets, you can push them to their limits in an environment that's perfect for them. And the Eifel region also looks really stunning. The only downside is that we'll have to wait a bit longer for this feature to be available in the early access. I'll talk about the timeline later in more detail. In the open world, you can directly visit local businesses, which includes places to rent cars, upgrade tuning shops, and more. Gas stations are also accessible to refuel your cars. Okay, the open world is cool and all, but what about circuit racing? And is this even still going to be a racing sim, or more of a simcade title now with the free roaming aspect? Don't worry, at the early access launch we'll get 5 circuits to race around. But Kunos is promising to expand to 15 to 20 tracks by the full release of the game in the fall of 2025. And if you're a pure circuit racer, you can completely ignore the open world if you really want to. Talking about driving physics, this will not be a simcade title. Kunos are still dedicated to as realistic physics as possible. They have moved back to a game engine of their own and completely reviewed their physics engine, updated things, and in some parts even rebuilt things from scratch. From the reports of people trying a preview of the game at Sim Racing Expo this year, it looks really promising, with good force feedback and driving feel. I'll fully plan on bringing you my own opinion and experience when early access starts. Feel free to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. There are some more interesting changes in the engine though. We are looking at a simulation model that incorporates much improved weather interactions. Dynamic track conditions mean the surface changes realistically. Rubber buildup, water pooling up in realistic places during rain, the track drying out where cars are driving, rain only in certain track sections, and more will impact grip in ways that previous Assetto Corsa games never managed to accomplish. Weather will also be a thing in the open world, but won't be simulated in as much detail as on circuits. I'm guessing our CPUs just couldn't handle that. Completely dynamic day-night cycles will make a return, and even seasons might be a thing. with talk about the sun being in different spots during the summer compared to the winter, for example. There won't be snow, however, for now. Let's talk about another thing that sets AC EVO apart from its predecessors: the progression system. This isn't the typical sim racing style where you just pick a car track combo and start racing. You still can through renting cars, but the main way of getting to drive cars is owning them. Kunos are for the first time implementing an in-game economy. Want to drive, upgrade and tune that dream car? You'll need to get the money for it first. Now, Kunos already stated that they don't want you to grind the same things over and over just to be able to afford a car, but still expect a bit more effort than before. And yes, you heard me right, upgrading cars will be a thing for the first time in Assetto Corsa as well. Want better brakes, a big rear wing, or completely different engine? There will be limits to what you can do, but some upgrades will be possible. And then tuning all adjustable parts of the car will of course be a thing once again. Oh, and one more thing about buying cars. For each car there will be all configurations and engines that you would find in any dealership, said game director Davide Brivio. That's definitely a new one and really cool. The progression system revolves around 3 key elements: experience points, which I'm not clear on yet on what these are good for, the in-game currency, which by the way can't be bought with real-life money, and racing licenses. Yes, licenses for certain car classes will be a thing. I think Gran Turismo does something similar, though we don't have any details yet on how these licenses will work in AC EVO. If you've played Gran Turismo, feel free to let me know in the comments how it works there and how the system is received. I think for EVO this could be a very good thing, as it might help to get people a bit more prepared before they jump into an online race. Fans of drifting might have to wait a bit, but it's an important feature for Kunos and will come. There was also talk about a driving academy, which could be a nice stepping stone to the licenses for new players. The confirmed car list is already quite interesting. We're talking a mix that spans from the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car to the humble Mazda MX-5. From classic Alfa Romeo models to modern Hyundai performance cars. Road cars, race cars, classics, modern machines, there's something for every type of sim racer. While we're talking about cars, vehicle damage gets an interesting treatment in AC EVO. Unlike some games that offer complete destruction, Kunos has to take into account the license agreements with car manufacturers, some of which do not want parts flying off their cars, or even random engine failures, for example. Therefore, the visual damage will be a bit limited. The mechanical damage models, on the other hand, will be enhanced, hopefully providing an experience that punishes mistakes but is still fun and understandable. When early access releases in January, single player will be the first thing we'll get our hands on. So let's talk about AI, because Kunos apparently went for a full rework here. From what they said, AI will be a lot better and not as static anymore. They will have personalities. They learn, they make mistakes, they evolve. If you raise the same AI driver multiple times, you start to recognize their driving style. One might be aggressive, another more calculated. You know from the names what you're getting into when racing door to door, and also how fast they are. The AI will still respect the same physics as the player. No artificial shortcuts or performance boosts. They'll improve their racing lines, adjust braking points, and react dynamically to the race situation. Mistakes will not be scripted events, but should genuinely feel natural and more like driving against people online. At least that is what Kunos promises. I and some of you have heard something similar before. So I will stay cautious here and update you in January if these claims are actually true. Online racing hasn't been forgotten, of course. It will come a bit later in early access though, as Kunos are taking a step-by-step approach. Multiplayer will have skill rating and safety rating, which are apparently improved from ACC. Also, Kunos are partnering with SimGrid for this to create a competitive experience with proper ranking systems. The goal is to create clean, competitive racing where drivers are matched based on their driving abilities and behavior. We'll have to wait and see if they achieve that, but I think they have a good partner with SimGrid. Let's now quickly talk about mod support, as this was the lifeblood of the original Assetto Corsa. Mods will still be possible after the game has fully released, but Kunos are taking a more cautious approach this time, to avoid trouble with licenses and copyright. It will be a more curated system that might even allow mod creators to earn some recognition or potentially even compensation. It's going to be a far cry from the Wild West of the original Assetto Corsa, but still true to the community spirit of allowing mods to even happen in the first place. We'll just have to wait and see what the mod landscape will look like in the future. So let's finally talk about the timeline now. What are we getting when? Early access launches on the 16th of January already. That's so soon. It will be very limited in the beginning with only single player, 5 tracks and about 20 cars. There will be regular updates though, bringing in more features and content, from the sounds of it every couple of weeks. This also allows Kunos to use early access the way it's meant to be used, for focus testing, gathering feedback and fixing bugs. The big open world will, as I said before, sadly not arrive immediately either. It's currently slated for the summer of 2025. Initially, the open world will be a smaller section around the Nordschleife as well, which will be expanded over time until the conclusion of early access. The coinciding full release is currently planned for fall of 2025. I wouldn't be surprised though if this is pushed to the end of the year. The early access phase and first release will be exclusively on PC. Sorry console players. But a console release will definitely come for both PlayStation and Xbox, but only after the game has fully released on PC. Oh, and what do we need to pay for early access? The price will be aggressive in a good way. Kunos' words, not mine. And they're committed to rewarding the community that supported them for years. That also means that the price will go up over the course of adding more features to the early access. Even then, I don't expect anything crazy, as Kunos has shown time and time again that they don't want to extort their players with ridiculous prices for games or DLC. And there still won't be a subscription model for AC EVO. You buy it, you own it. The recommended PC specs are already on Steam and look very reasonable to me. Performance improvements will probably need to happen through the beginning of early access though. Triple screen support and VR will be there as well, though I haven't found any confirmation if that's from the very beginning. So, will Assetto Corsa EVO be the sim racing revolution we've been waiting for? We'll find out soon. I'm quite optimistic at this point, but we'll update you on this channel as early access progresses. It's definitely good to see that Kunos wants to support the game for many years to come. What do you think? What features excite you the most and what would you like to see Kunos still add? Let us know in the comments. Have you found this video interesting? Then I would really appreciate a like. If you want to see more coverage as well as we get closer to launch, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching. I've been HT Racing. See you next time.